Hello, my fellow nerds, and welcome to the Nerd Empire. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today, and I hope you all will enjoy today's reaction video. With that being said, let's get right into it, shall we?
We'll react to this one instead. This one I can say a lot on. This one is Fat Acceptance is Over. So, let's see what Sydney has to say about this, and hopefully fat acceptance can be over, because fat acceptance should not have ever existed in the first place. We should not, as a society, be welcoming obesity. It should not be, championed or welcomed or celebrated or anything like that.
Well, I guess another one bites the dust. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. Just a reminder once again, for those of you who don't know, 50% off on my tea website, Lions Tea Exchange, for the flavors Earl Grey, New York Breakfast, and Emerald Green, because they are expiring, although tea doesn't really expire, at the end of November. I don't want to throw them out, so I would love for you guys to go and check them out. If you haven't bought tea already, go and do so, because they're very tasty. Use the code We Don't Waste. Okay, let's do the video. So, my little baby birds, fat acceptance, the thing that has dominated almost everything for the last decade or so, whether we'd asked for it or not, which most of us haven't. Also, don't any of you judge the way that I am holding this mug. It is both heavy and hot. Ironically, all the things that fat acceptance women wish they were. Hello, cherub children. Saying Sydney from the future here. I just realized that the last fat acceptance movement video that I made, I wore this exact same shirt. And it's entirely a coincidence that I did it again. I own different clothes, I promise, but I guess going forward, this is going to be the fat acceptance shirt, so there's that. I just wanted to acknowledge it because I thought it was funny. But this has been a movement that's been quite challenging to escape. From fat models going down runways to taking up magazine covers and billboards, the modeling industry itself has grown bigger with plus size
Puns. Yeah, I never fully could understand why we as a society thought it was okay to champion or to, just accept that being fat is okay, which it's not. I mean, we as humans should not be getting that fucking big or that fucking heavy. I don't get, I will never understand why anyone thought it was okay. And people saying being fat is empowering, being fat is good, being fat is healthy. And it's just, can you logically explain how it is so? When so much scientific evidence points, to the opposite of what you're saying.
Models comprising of 26% of all models at major fashion week events globally as of 2025. Fat activists went so hard that the fashion industry even started making fat mannequins. As fat acceptance and body positivity blew up online, activists on TikTok created an entire intersectional hierarchy of fatness. You've heard about fat phobia, but have you heard about skinny supremacy? And yes, I traded out the
I always thought adding the term phobia to these things, I thought was a little weird, because phobia means like a fear of something. Fat phobia, fear of fat. How? It's like, is there something else we can call this stuff instead of something phobia? Because we're not afraid of trans people. We're not afraid of fat people. We're not afraid of gay people. So why did we say phobia? Because it's not a fear of these things.
Because this is light and skinny, sort of.
And I think that's what it is. You have to constantly uphold thinness as supremacy, even if it means
thinness is not supremacy. Thinness can be just as bad as fatness, because both ends can be very unhealthy. A very thin person can have just as much health complications as a fat person. So, Be in shape and healthy, not thin, not fat.
You are in telling them, oh, you're so much better now. You're like shitting on yourself. That's the other reason I don't do it, because I don't want to say thinness is inherently better, because that means I'm inherently worse.
And my personal favorite, the BMI scale is racist.
Especially if you're a white woman like myself, is how our participation in diet culture and the pursuit of the thin ideal is a form of racism.
People have used the word racism, sexism, misogyny, all these things so fucking much that I swear these people do not remember what actual racism, actual sexism, actual misogyny, what these things actually are. They just seem to throw this word out like it's, they're breathing air. In no way, shape, or form is dieting, losing weight, the BMI, or anything like that racist in any way. And somehow these people have it in their heads that it is. I don't understand their leap of logic.
Upholding the white supremacist ideals. It's really important that we see that we are participating in this.
Also, white supremacy doesn't actually exist, because if it did, a lot of people of color wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that they are able to do today. So white supremacy does not actually exist. And neither does the patriarchy.
Supremacy culture and in the body hierarchy by continuing our obsession with thinness. And so if you want to learn more about this, Google the bizarre and racist roots of the BMI.
They teach this stuff at universities, just so that you guys know, in case you needed another reason to go become a plumber. For the last number of years, fat activists have even argued that they shouldn't have to purchase an additional...
I'm fat. I should not have to buy 2 seats on a plane. Yes, you should. Because your fat ass is wide enough where it inevitably takes up 2 seats. Therefore, you should be paying for 2 seats. If you don't like that, well, then you know what? It's not our problem. It is yours. You need to fix that. You need to make better decisions that don't cause you to expand like a fucking air balloon.
Seat on airplanes if they're too big for just one. As a result, airline companies like Southwest even offered free additional seats for plus-size passengers by allowing them to request refunds after the fact or...
This is another thing I hate that companies do. They're basically acquiescing to all the fat acceptance people, or just the fat people in general, because they don't want to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. And who fucking cares? It is these people's fault, and through no fault of anybody else. They made the decision to constantly keep eating more than the energy they put out on a daily basis, which therefore got them to the size that they are. They have nobody to blame but themselves. So no company and no person should be acquiescing to them because they decided to be stupid and get fat. So if it hurts their feelings and makes them bitch and moan that they have to buy an extra seat because they decided to expand themselves, then let them bitch and moan about it. But don't bend the knee to just, make them feel better.
Request a free extra seat upon arriving at the airport. Fun fact, the Air Carrier Access Act may actually consider obesity a disability because it substantially limits things, like traveling. That's gonna be a no from me there, champ.
It's
and
not a
let's
disability.
Not forget my own experience flying fat, where I was sat betwixt 2 very large individuals whose fat rolls were touching my body. I can still feel it now. Not great, not my favorite. And apparently that story went viral. I guess it was a, slow news week that week. or something. I won't lie to you all, I have been on the internet for a minute, and I always find the stupidest things that I do are the things that go viral. Not the thought out, thoughtful things that I put into the world, the stupid stuff. Like me getting sat on by a fat. I wrote about that experience for Newsweek, of all places, for the love of God. Anyway, we have been blasted with these things and many, many more for quite a long time in an effort to promote different body types and get away from the heroin chic of the 2000s. Heroin is in. Not the, oh, I'm gonna fight a dragon. But like everything else that I've talked about in this series, and yes, me talking about these movements ending is a series now, the overemphasis on being terribly overweight, the normalization of being terribly overweight, is coming to an end. And it's for very similar reasons to the deaths of the LGBT movement, the gender ideology movement, the trans movement, and so on. In part, people have simply gotten sick of it, and the more people who've gotten sick of it, the more the companies have followed suit. Southwest is walking back its free seating policies, and I'm actually pretty sure.
Here's the thing with me. I don't honestly care if you want to live your life the way you want to live. You know, do what makes you happy as long as it doesn't affect anyone else around you in any negative way. It's when that happens and when you try and force people to change to the way that you want them to change to make your life easier without you having to put in any effort to change your own life to make things easier for yourself. That's when I and the rest of the world seems to have a problem, because it is an actual problem. You can't, because you made stupid decisions to make life harder for yourself, you cannot in turn expect the entire world around you to change and conform to what you want so that you have an easier life despite the stupid decisions you still continue to make. Like, you know, like there's a fat influencer who goes to different amusement parks to show that she doesn't fit in a lot of these things, and that the amusement park should change to accommodate to people to fit to fat people. I'm not going to say people of a larger size. It's just fat people. And I can say this because I'm a fat person. So, near to you. But, yeah, it's just, you can't expect the world to change and to accommodate to you, because you have made and continue to keep making these decisions that make life harder for yourself and make it so that you have a harder time fitting in things. You have a harder time walking, breathing, you know, doing all these things because of the size of your body, because you decided to get fat and keep continuing to make the decisions to keep yourself fat. So that's why a lot of these people have a problem with the fat acceptance movement, the trans movement, all these other movements, because every single one of them expects the world to change and to conform to what they want so that they have an easier time and so that they are happy and they ruin everybody else's life. That's why a lot of these people have a problem with all these movements. So a lot of us, like I said, a lot of us have no problem with you living the way you want to live your life if it makes you happy. We do have a problem, however, when you start fucking with everything else in life. So, stop it. Get some help.
Sure that other airlines are doing exactly the same thing. Other companies have wiped their body positivity web pages and shifted away from body positivity in fashion and advertising. And would you actually look at the state of advertising? We're back to the models and celebrity vibes of the 2000s, which were quite thin. But more importantly, I don't think your average person actually wants to be fat. Like, a portion of them do, because there's some weird fetish stuff around that, but your average person does not want to be overweight. It doesn't feel good, no matter how much you tell the rest of us that you love your roles.
It really,
Sure about that?
trust me, it does not feel good to be big, to be fat. It doesn't. You have to breathe harder you have to, like, for me, you can tell I have a bit of labored breathing because of how big I am. I have a harder time tying my shoes. I have a harder time getting out of bed. I'm always constantly fucking tired. I have joint problems. I do have some health problems. All these things are because I am fat. And if I lost weight and got healthier, a lot of the problems that I'm currently having would just disappear. And some of these people, I don't understand how they can get so big and be okay with being that big to the point where they could no longer wipe their own ass after they take a shit. If I ever got to that point, I think I'd cry. I would honestly probably cry if I couldn't wipe my own ass. And I had to use some sort of apparatus or something to help me with that. Because at that point, it's just, I don't understand how people are okay with it. I really do not understand it. I don't get it.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
But right now, there's a third reason, and arguably the biggest reason why all of this is taking place. Kind of hilariously, this era of body positivity and fat acceptance was reasonably short-lived, because as soon as people could achieve the bodies they truly wanted with a lot less effort than previously thought, it became clear that body positivity was always a cope. And thanks to the rise of weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, the death of this movement has only
Damn, girl. Wait. How much weight?
Ozempic and Wegovy,
195, 147. She lost nearly 50 pounds. You know, good on... I love seeing these type of videos where they do the before and after and losing this weight and, you know, getting in a more, you know, healthier size and a fitter. I love seeing these because it's inspiring to a lot of people, because not these people see these sort of inspirations and they think, you know, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can lose weight. Maybe I can become healthier and I can be a better version of myself. These type of videos are an inspiration, and it's good to see people becoming healthier and, you know, doing better with their life.
Death of this movement has only accelerated. You know, not needing to diet or do that pesky exercise to get the bikini body of your dreams is probably quite appealing to most people. But it is really interesting to consider how much these drugs are changing the game. As many of you know, I use Ground News for my research and found on their website that even Pfizer has just purchased a company that will bring injectables to market. There's other reporting at the moment that says...
Here's another thing. Don't fully rely, or don't just rely at all, on drugs to help you lose weight. Because ultimately the best way to lose weight and to get healthier is to eat less than the energy you put out on a daily basis. That is a calorie deficit. And then just, you know, a few times a week, go outside and go for a walk for like 30 minutes to an hour. That's all you really need to do. Just get up and move. Or, you know, go to the gym for like an hour a day for like 3 to 4 days a week. And you'll have more stamina. You'll feel a hell of a lot better. You'll have more energy. You'll be healthier. You'll feel like a better version of yourself. You'll just feel so much better. But I wouldn't suggest, you know, turning to any sort of drugs or anything like that to help you lose weight. Because ultimately, that's not really going to help the most, if at all.
That these kind of drugs are being used as a quick fix. It's really interesting how most of these stories are being covered by the center, according to Ground News, given how polarizing obesity is. But if I went to any other topic that I've spoken about recently, like Irina Zarutska's murder, just for example, you can see just how biased the reporting is. From just a week ago, we see North Carolina legislature passing Irina's law, which has mostly been covered by right-wing outlets. That's probably not very surprising to any of you. The first headline here from the left that we see is about J.D. Vance blaming Democrats for the stabbing, whereas right-wing outlets are using headlines about cashless bail and the death penalty, which is what the law is about, not about J.D. Vance. So it really does go to show how these issues get covered by both sides of the aisle and where the biases are. These type of stories always seem to skew to one side or the other, and I know I've harped on this for ages, but it's why it's so so important to take the time to educate yourself about what's happening in the news, and this is why Ground News is such a good friend of this channel. We know things are getting more polarized, so it is necessary to have websites like Ground News cutting through all of that. They show you news bias, they let you compare stories, they show you blind spots in the news that you consume, but more importantly, I really encourage you to support them, not only because they have been a long-time supporter of this channel, but because what Ground News is and what Ground News does is so needed during this time. They're subscriber funded, so your support is what keeps them going, and I want to make that really clear. So I strongly encourage you to support Ground News and support what they're trying to do by clicking the link in the description, scanning the QR code on screen, or going to ground.news/Sydney and subscribing through my link for 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the same plan that I use for unlimited use. But here's the kicker, right? And it's something that most of you can probably guess. As the fat acceptance, body positivity movements are nosediving, people in this community are absolutely livid. Influencers and celebrities who built empires on Big is Beautiful, who promoted self-love and wanted to fight fat phobia, are now posting about their size 4 glow-ups, leaving fans feeling betrayed, to put it mildly. And the comment sections on former fat influencers' videos, which were once full of pro-fat positivity, are now absolutely horrific. Now, because I have discussed the origin points of the...
Yeah. They got nobody to turn to where they can find a good excuse for them making horrible decisions and staying fat. So they no longer have the echo chamber. So they're upset about it. It's like, hey, nobody's validating my dumbass decision for being fat and continuing to keep myself fat. So yeah, they're going to get upset once these people stop doing that because they no longer hear their own stupidity thrown back at them.
Fat acceptance / body positivity movements before, I would like to quickly reiterate some of that for those of you who don't know, but if you are interested in more information on that, I will link those videos in the description box. Fat activism started all the way back in the 60s. There was a growing backlash to the body messaging of the 40s and 50s that expected women to maintain a tiny frame, take weight loss medication, and stay in perfect shape all of the time, which is impossible. The 70s and 80s gave people extreme diet culture, like the cabbage soup diet that requires people to basically eat nothing.
I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Please enjoy your serving of air. Around the same time, products like Slim Fast popularized the liquid diet craze, and group weight loss programs like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig were quickly gaining popularity. Eating disorders were on full display in celebrities, and it didn't sit too well with a portion of the population.
Isn't that Cher?
This gave rise to healthy at every size and body positivity, the latter arguing that basically you should accept yourself, faults and all. And soon, the same companies who got popular and were once praised for helping people lose unwanted weight were now being accused of body shaming and using toxic, unhealthy tactics. But with the rise of the internet, Tumblr, and Reddit, body positivity morphed and changed, and eventually gave way to fat acceptance.
A lot of, I think, oh, Shadow, hello. I just want to, sorry, I didn't see you, type right away. I got so into this. I just want to, I don't have any donuts. I got no donuts. All I got is cherry Dr. Pepper, cherry Coke, and some cheesy stuffed breadsticks in the fridge. So I got no donuts. I can't afford to. Oh wait, I can't say I can't afford because I just got Domino's. So, but yeah, I haven't gone to the store yet, so I don't have any donuts. I have to go to the store tomorrow. But yeah, I think a lot of the reason why. A big reason why a lot of people have an easier time getting fat is because there's a lot of fucking sugar and everything. There's so much fucking sugar. How you doing, Shadow?
And the idea that fatness is beautiful. Fast forward to the...
I hate it when people keep saying fat is beautiful, fat is awesome, fat is powerful. No, it's not. Trust me, I'm a fat man. Ain't nothing beautiful about this.
2010s, and it's the Instagram era. Body positivity goes viral with hashtags like fat and fabulous. Brands like Dove and Aerie jump on the bandwagon, pushing real bodies and plus-size lines. But for a brief, beautiful moment, fat activists really believed here that their message was being widely received by a wider audience. Pun not intended, but welcomed. Obese models were on magazine covers.
Oh God, I remember this was just so dumb.
Runways and red carpets, and activists were all chanting "fat is beautiful." And things continued on like this for some time, with micro communities gaining speed and size on TikTok, giving us some of the most insane...
Lady, I'm sorry, but that neck tattoo ain't really working for you. It just looks like you have some fucked up beard.
videos that I have shown you over the years. Discussions around fatness.
There is nothing wrong with being fat. Fat is not a bad word. It's a neutral word. Unlearning your fat phobia is possible. Fat people are not failed. Thin people, we don't owe you weight loss. True, you don't owe us weight loss, so you owe it to your fucking self. Fat is not a bad word because it's just an actual thing. It's fat. There is a lot of things being wrong with being fat because it comes with a lot of health complications and physical complications. Fat people are not failed thin people. That is true. They are just people who failed at making actual, good decisions. So, yeah, this lady fails.
It's made their way into everything. Racism, ableism, and it was absorbed by the overall...
Being fat is a radical act. It is not a radical act. It is a culmination of bad decisions.
progressive movement. But with most things in 2025, all of this went too far. And for us normies out there, it became a little bit too much. Because much as it pains some people to hear this, there is such a thing as too many roles. And I would argue the vast majority of people yearn to be fit and healthy and able to run upstairs. And once again, and do not yell at me in the comments for saying this, it's just my opinion, I would argue that a lot of people who jumped on the fat acceptance bandwagon did so because it's a cope. Weight loss for so many people.
People jumped on it because people like to take the easy route. They don't like to take the road less traveled because it's a lot of work. They find it easier to do this stuff, get behind this stuff, because there's no work involved in it. It's just an easier road. So that's why they take it, because they don't have to work for anything.
Is incredibly challenging, and I'm not going to deny that. You know, we have very sedentary lifestyles. A lot of people do struggle to eat properly just because a lot of American food is highly addictive, has lots of additives, bad additives in it that is not good for you, that leads to rapid weight gain. So in some ways, it is easier to jump on board a movement that co-signs laziness and makes excuses for you not looking the way that you want to look. You know, remember the whole dieting is fatphobic and fatness is...
Keith Bassett, I hope I pronounced that right. There's a lot of shows on TLC that took advantage of severely overweight people. Isn't TLC that one that has the My 600 Pound Life or something like that? I can't remember, but I do remember a few. Okay, so I am correct. Okay, I figured. Yeah, it's while to them it's good ratings and everything. It's just it is a horrible thing to do, to take advantage of somebody because of their weight, just so you can get ratings and make money off of them. I mean, being that incredibly big, I don't, as, it's very horrible. I don't get how people were okay with taking advantage of those just to make a show out of them. Like there's some sort of carnival, like there's some sort of freak show. It's
genetic stuff, Me too. Me too, fam. But then there appeared seemingly an easier way out of obesity that didn't involve any massive lifestyle changes or dietary changes or doing really anything significant at all. Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro, which I think I'm saying wrong, but I don't care. GLP-1 drugs, as they're known, were supposed to help diabetics, but seem to have become Hollywood's cheat code for weight loss. These shots suppress your appetite so hard that you forget what a cheeseburger tastes like. Suddenly, Healthy at Every Size was out, and low-rise jeans were making
Ozempic and the skinny standard is a new era of beauty on the horizon.
a comeback. Angry fat activist writers began pumping out articles expressing how heroin...
The thing is, body positivity was never ever created for fat people. It was created for people who cannot and have not any control over the shit that's wrong with their body. You know, be it some sort of disfigurement, missing limbs, you know, and other rapid weight loss is detrimental because it makes keeping it off more. Yes, yeah, exactly. You can't lose it too incredibly quickly because, yeah, like you said, it's a detriment to your body. You have to lose it at a certain pace because then you become more used to it. It becomes easier to keep off, and your body just doesn't rebound. But yeah, the body positivity was meant for people, you know, like missing limbs, disfigurement in any of their body, or anything else like that where they have no control over. That's what body positivity was meant for. And it was just fucking hijacked by fat whales trying to find an easy way out and, you know, say, hey, me being fat is okay, when it's actually not. It's just, you know, and I'm saying this as a fat person. Physical disability was what it was for. Yes, exactly. Physical disability. But here we have fat people taking it over, just pushing all the people with actual physical disabilities to the wayside and saying, no, this is our movement. Be like, no, fuck you. It's like, you want a movement? How about you actually get up and start fucking moving? There's your movement.
Chic was back in, and they couldn't understand why this was happening. But the change was already in motion, and rather than having to pretend that fat is beautiful and everybody enjoys being overweight, celebrities in particular could take these drugs and then lose weight with relative ease. Celebrities like Kim Kardashian were making massive changes. She downsized her famous BBL.
Holy shit, she lost her ass. Damn. Actually, I have to admit, this actually looks better and more natural than fucking this. Look, I am an ass man. I love myself a good ass. But personally, I think this looks better than this. But that's just my opinion. I get that there are some people who like women with giant fucking, you know, watermelons for an ass. yeah. It looks like she's smuggling 2 watermelons under her dress. She's still fucking beautiful. But yeah, this looks so much better.
Singer Lizzo was losing lots of weight and slimming down after...
Oh yeah, I've heard Lizzo was actually...
promoting fat acceptance for years.
Look at that. She looks so much better. She just looks... It looks like she's... Like she was wearing a fat suit and just took it off.
And side note, she had to caption a TikTok video recently. Reminder, you
She probably feels... Yeah, probably... Her joints probably feel a hell of a lot better, too.
can lose weight and still not be fat phobic. Trying so hard not to lose that audience that doesn't want her to be healthy. It's sad. That's really sad. Meghan Trainor, a musician who previously and proudly sang about not being a size 2, was suddenly and definitely a size 2. Even Weight Watchers started peddling GLP-1s. Recently on that front as well, sports star Serena...
And here's what a lot of the audience members who see this sort of stuff don't understand. The drugs help maybe about, I'd say, 5%. They don't understand the rest of the work these celebrities are doing just to lose the weight, and they are able to do that amount of work in that short of time to lose that weight because they have connections and money. It is not solely because of the drug they take. Yes, being overweight and being underweight can be just as dangerous and just as unhealthy as being overweight. The only difference between those two being is that with overweight people, they have a lot of joint problems because of the stress of the weight that's on them. But underweight people can have just as much health complications as the overweight people. So yeah, I used to go to school with somebody that looked like if I just gave her a hug, it looked like I would snap her in half. And I just looked at her like I would be afraid to hug her because she was that small. I'm 5'6". I was 110 pounds in my senior year. Wow, yeah, that's small, dude. Are you doing much better since then? I hope you are, at least. Ow, ow. Bent my finger a bit too much on that one. 162 now. Okay. So that's much better then. That's much healthier. But yeah, it's just a lot of these audience members who follow these celebrities, a lot of them seem to think that the majority of the reason why they lose weight is because of these drugs, when it's not. The majority of the reason why they're able to lose weight so much is because they have connections and money to be able to do a lot of the hard work that they're able to do to lose that much weight that quickly. So they solely relying on drugs to try and lose weight is not the way to go. It is not a very healthy thing to do either.
Serena Williams, of all people, has partnered with a GLP-1 weight loss company, which, definitely wasn't in the bingo cards this year. She's actually been very busy lately complaining about cotton, as you do.
All right, everyone, how do we feel about cotton as decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great.
I'm not sure a cotton thing for decoration is not... I'm not sure how aesthetically pleasing it would be. I mean, it could work. I guess it depends on how you decorate the place, but I'm not quite sure, honestly.
So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton, natural.
So yes, the body positivity movement was in fact co-opted by fat acceptance and morphed into the icky weird thing that we know it as today, which was turned into a bunch of slogans and hashtags, and then a bunch of brands jumped on board to take advantage of the momentum that they saw happening out in the world. But with these new miracle drugs, the narrative absolutely flipped. And just by the way, I don't want to get into my personal thoughts and feelings on these. I think this is another case where you as an individual have to decide for yourself if the risk is worth the reward, and nobody else can tell you if it is or isn't. Anyway, the new standard recently has become pretty clear that fatness isn't something to embrace anymore, it's actually something to be fixed. And as more and more people, particularly those in positions of power, so to speak, people who have large audiences, people who have a really big reach, have gotten thinner and thinner, their audiences have not been taking this well. Remy Bader, a TikToker who built her brand on US size 16 clothing hauls, hyped up fans by telling them to just wear what they want. But she became the subject of ire after she dropped an enormous amount of weight via weight loss surgery. Not Ozempic, but still a medical intervention, so, I'm gonna say that it fits. She stayed stayed quiet about this for months, letting fans speculate, until she eventually revealed the truth on Khloe Kardashian's podcast. Her comment section was a war
Oh,
zone.
wow.
Fans
She looks much better.
called her dishonest for not being upfront, feeling like she had abandoned them to be skinny. That's the long and short of it. More likely so she won't.
Yeah, I find it hilarious is a lot of these people who follow these now former fat influencers, that they're angry at them because they, like I said before, they have nobody that will justify their poor decisions that got them that big. So they're upset at them. They're losing their echo chamber.
Die of a heart attack at 40. But their reasons make sense too, I guess. This experience was similar to that of fat influencer Rosie Blair, also known online as Rosie Beam, who I've discussed in previous videos. Back in January 2024, she posted about her weight loss journey, admitting to using Mounjaro, which is another one of these injections. In one post, she wrote that weight loss meant that she felt like she had access to a world that she was previously missing. She liked not being concerned about the size of seating out in the world. She liked flying without feeling worried, and she...
It's more of the typical false activism that's on social media. Yeah, it's just... A lot of these activists have done nothing but harm to society. They haven't done anything good to help these people with their lives. Like this video has been explaining, we're getting to the point where we're just now sick of it. We're becoming done with it, because we're just tired of constantly hearing this narrative of fat is healthy, fat is beautiful, fat is powerful, and all this, stupid ass shit. People are getting sick of it, and people are finally... Sorry, I got my Domino's box. They're finally seeing that it's not worth dealing with all this crap.
She liked working on her cardiovascular health to achieve her dream body. Now, normal, well-adjusted people would see this as a good thing. Being healthy is a good thing. Having access to the world around you is a good thing. Being able to fit in the world around you is a good thing. But this poor woman's audience didn't see it that way. They accused her of fat phobia. They actually have said some very, very awful things to her. They accused her of being ableist and suggested that she's suggesting that fat bodies can't function. I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote. Blair responded saying that she left the body positive community because she wanted to be more than her size. The backlash eventually got so intense that some fans suggested everyone collectively unfollowing her entirely. But this has been the experience of countless former fat activists and models and celebrities and what have you. Like Mindy Kaling. I've never said that word out loud, I've only ever read it, so not sure if I'm saying it right. Probably not, but I don't care. Who has been accused
beautiful.
of using Ozempic to get skinny because she lost a ton of weight really quickly, and therefore was accused by fans of promoting fat phobia. Or in 2024, Oprah Winfrey, of all people, who stepped down from her lead role at Weight Watchers after admitting to using weight loss drugs, dropped 60 pounds. Which I think is 120 kilos in the correct system of measurement. Her ABC special, Shame, Blame, and the Weight Loss Revolution pushed a stop shaming message while centering weight loss as empowerment. Fans here were very upset because Oprah was supposed to be their OG fat positive icon, but obviously that quickly fell apart when she found a way out of obesity. So why does people losing weight, why does people bettering themselves, why do these weight loss drugs send the dying dregs of this movement into a complete tailspin? Well, a lot of these people built platforms on
Thinking that no one on this planet could ever find my fat body parts attractive. As creepy as it is, there is a small, and I mean small, community of, oh yeah, I didn't say this a couple days ago, Keith, but thank you for, I don't think I said it a couple days ago, but thank you for following me. I just saw on my feed on that one. Yes, attraction is subjective, but there is a small community of people that find that solely find fat people attractive. And it is very, in my opinion, it's creepy. And it is also known as a kink. It is called the feeder and eater community, where the feeders feed the bigger people food to keep them fat because they are attracted to their fat. Oh, well, thank you. I actually just got done with reacting to more pars. So it's I've seen this community, and it gives me the shivers. I don't get it. I don't understand it. If it makes them happy, live your life. But it's weird.
On body positivity and fat acceptance, promoting an objectively terrible ideology.
Being overweight is the smartest thing you can do. I've said this before, but if you are fat to the point where you can no longer wipe your own ass with your own hand, if you can't reach around to wipe your own ass, I don't understand how you're okay with being that big. Like this. How are you okay with this? This just seems like a miserable way to live. Like me, I'm 5'8" and about 315 pounds. And when I sit down and bend over to try and tie my shoes, my stomach pushes up into my diaphragm. It makes it hard to breathe. It's shows in the 90s constantly made jokes that wouldn't fly today. Yeah, whoa, yeah. A lot of things in the 90s not a lot of people would be okay with because they would find it offensive. It would hurt their feelings. People would just be a bunch of snowflakes about it. But back in the 90s, we didn't really care if people got offended or got their feelings hurt. Oh my God, Married with Children. Oh my God, that guy. Oh, what was it? Ted Bundy, I think his name was. I think it was Ted Bundy or something. Al Bundy. Al Bundy was his name, not Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's a horrible person. Al Bundy. I've seen a compilation of his insults, and my God, are they fucking hilarious. Oh, people today I don't think would be able to handle it, but he is fucking funny. But yeah, it's just, I don't understand how people can get it. I grew up watching those yeah, same here. I grew up South Park. Even today, I've told people have tried to cancel shows. There is one show that you cannot, no matter what you do, cancel, and that is South Park. South Park is the one show that is immune to cancellation. It makes fun of everything and everyone without exception. And it is because of them that the guy who plays Chef quit, because they made fun of Scientology, which he was a part of. So, yeah, when it comes to South Park, nobody's fucking safe. But yeah, it's just, I don't get how people are okay with getting this big. It is amazing how the human body is able to expand this much. It is fascinating, and it is scary. Some people took it better than others. Yeah, that's true.
That made people feel comfortable in their weight gain, their weight loss, especially.
There's nothing wrong with my body. Lady, if you only knew what was wrong with your body, you would so retract what you said.
or framed as a health journey feels like a middle finger to a community of people who want their own obesity reaffirmed. So
I am Fat Barbie. She loves the skins she's in, celebrates people in bigger bodies, wears funky clothes, and lives unapologetically. The one thing I always find funny with these fat people is when they say, "Oh, I just live in a bigger body." It makes me laugh every time they say that. Because, bitch, you're not living in a bigger body. You're just fat because you have decided to make dumb decisions.
it's not just about losing weight, it's about a huge cultural shift that's happening. One that signals that this movement never really had any
Oh, it's a crazy
stand
lady
on to begin with and is now slowly falling apart. Fat influencers leaving the movement absolutely started some time ago, and after the deaths of several well-known creators who died of obesity-related issues, the departure has only accelerated. But honestly, it's not terribly hard to see
I'm
why
currently 94 pounds down from my highest weight. Good on you, lady. Keep it up. I love it when I see videos like this. You know, they're losing weight, and you see how they started, how they're going, and so on and so forth. Like, I see them like, good on you. Keep up the hard work.
many people feel abandoned by their favorite fat influencer, getting
I've struggled my whole life to know how to love myself into a healthier version of who I am.
skinny and getting in shape, when psychology blogs are telling them it's completely valid to feel betrayed by
Leaving fat acceptance and the old mindsets I used to have was just the first step in this long journey I'm very much still on. I'd say, considering how big she is currently, it will probably take her, if she keeps at it and doesn't stray from it, it'll probably take her 2 to 4 years to lose all this.
weight loss by the weight loss of their favorite online people. This stuff is so not okay. And I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but it's not normal to feel this way. If anything, I think it's rooted in some deep-seated insecurity and jealousy. The sort of, if I have to look like this, so do you type of thing. Which is ironic and interesting because that, in and of itself, has become this sort of new trendy school of thought because people forget that they...
Yeah, a lot of, that's the one thing I think is... There are two things I think that is the hardest thing to do when it comes to weight loss. One is to change your mindset and to become and get a healthier one. And two is the motivation. For me, that is the hardest thing. It is to keep the motivation and to keep it to the point where I will get down to a healthier weight. That is the thing I have the hardest time with, is the motivation part. But yeah, I think the mindset is probably the most difficult step for a lot of people to take, because it is hard. It's change is hard, but it is necessary. With any issue you have to accept you have a problem. I totally agree with that.
Don't actually have to be fat. What I think a lot of people here are actually mad about is the not so subtle reminder that if they wanted to improve, they could. Seeing someone bettering themselves, especially if they're doing it through regular channels like diet and exercise, and I guess actually to an even larger extent with these weight loss shots, because a lot of people view it as a cheat code, seeing people do these things and act like this serves as an example of all the things that this other group of people...
I think it's a great thing when people post like a journey videos or photos, like where they started. They take a photo or a video like every week, every couple weeks, every month, showing their journey until they get to the point where their goal is. I think it's a great thing that people post those things, because it also gives people motivation. It gives people hope. It inspires people to do the exact same thing. So it is a wonderful thing when I see people who are, 2, 3, 4, 500 pounds post videos of them losing weight slowly and just keeping up with the hard work, keeping up with the motivation, keeping up with what their goal is. It is the greatest thing to see because it, like I said, it gives people hope and it motivates people and inspires people to do the exact same thing.
Are not doing, but they could be doing if they wanted to, and it makes them feel bad. But instead of addressing the root causes of those very dysfunctional feelings and making positive changes to move through the world with better ease, instead these group of people demand that everybody else acquiesce to them and make changes in order to accommodate their hefty size. Which isn't just unrealistic, it's impossible. The bottom line is that weight loss drugs are not new. And honestly, putting efforts forward, especially in the medical community, to address obesity is also not new, and they are making strides. I think every couple years something new comes out that helps people shed a bunch of weight, and then a couple years after that we find out that it makes you grow like extra toes or whatever. I know that on a statistical level people have been and are getting fatter, but I do think that we are going to see a big change there in coming years because we are returning to the aesthetics of the early 2000s especially, and that doesn't really in any way, shape or form accommodate fat acceptance and body positivity in the messed up version that we find it these days. Being hot and cute and sexy is back in, and especially as the entertainment industry and celebrity culture and advertising and marketing move away from fat acceptance and body positivity, we're going to see a reemergence of attractive people everywhere in the coming years. And that is just my prediction, and I could be wrong, but 60% of the time I am right 100% of the time. Really early body positivity did have good intentions, but as with most movements, it was co-opted by insane people and weird initiatives, and that is why we are seeing it fall by the wayside. That is why we are seeing the death of fat acceptance, and honestly I think this issue is only going to fall away further as the years progress. So in the end, I do think it's worth saying that I have so much respect for people who are
Scott
trying to get
Steiner
in shape
math.
and lose
Oh
weight.
God.
I think that's
I haven't
really
seen Scott
cool.
Steiner
I think that is
since
such a
WCW.
noble and good thing to be doing in this day and age. I think that there is no reason why you have to be fat, and if you are on a quest to get lean and healthy, that is awesome, and I genuinely wish all the best for you. But for the rest of us, I am sure this is not the last that we will hear about the dying fat acceptance movement as it loudly and quickly falls apart. Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out
Oh,
Ground News
really?
using the link in
I
the
didn't know
description.
that.
They have been a long-time supporter of this channel, so I do encourage you to go and check out what they have to offer. They are doing something that is so necessary today, and I think that it's a really, really good idea that we support people who are making the news space better. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? What do you make of these weight loss drugs? Are you on board with them? Do you think they're a good thing? Do you think that they are a bad thing and we are going to learn in a number of years why they're a bad thing? Do you think that the fat acceptance movement is dying, that's falling out of favor because we are prioritizing cute and sexy and hot people again in media and in entertainment? Do you think that that's not really the case at all and that this is just a trendy thing? This is just everybody following trends and fat acceptance will be back before we know it? And what you generally make of this issue overall. As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well as leaving this video a like and a comment because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Except when you guys yell at me, that doesn't make me feel very nice. Of course, my little chickadee noodle heads, I hope you stay safe and well and make good choices. And if you are on your weight loss journey, make sure you go to the gym, go and lift up heavy things and put them back down again. And I will see your wonderful little faces in the next video.
Yeah, I've always hoped that the fat acceptance movement would just die and never return. One day it will. One day it will.
Well, that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give a like and subscribe. I post videos 3 to 5 days a week here. I also post videos over on my other channel for gaming as well, so please make sure to give that a look-see, see if you enjoy that as well. I also stream anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week as well. Links to all my social medias will be on my YouTube page. And with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.